Good evening, everyone. Sorry we're slightly late starting off. We had a slight technical hitch, which I hope it will prove to be all right on the night, but we'll tell that a little bit later. Welcome to you all. Good evening. The agenda items. Item 1, apologies for absence.
We have none.
None. Declarations of interest.
Only that I'm a district councillor, so I won't be commenting on any of the planning matters.
Okay. Right. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. You all had a copy. Are they a correct account? Anyone got any problems?
No. See, I thought we were correct.
Could I ask for a proposer and seconder? Pauline proposed. And Mike. Thank you. Right, updates from the minutes, not otherwise listed on the agenda. I'm just running through, and I think everything on there. I can't see anything on there that isn't either in financial or recreation ground matters.
No.
Okay, I think you'll find, say if we have missed anything, we can skip back, but I'm certain we've got everything covered.
I went to that meeting. Do you want me to give that later?
Which meeting is that?
The police meeting.
Sorry?
The police, town and parish meeting.
Oh yes, no, give us please,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yep.
There was about 15 of us from the parish councils, which was quite good. Unfortunately, there was no one from Dover Town Council, but everyone else was represented. We've got 17 wards. We've now got 6 PCS, well, police. They're not PCSOs anymore, are they? They're police, actual policemen. They want 12, and they're recruiting. They've got a couple training at the moment, but they don't seem to keep them very long. But they're hoping to have them up and running by Christmas to January. Because at the moment they've got 3 wards, 3 to 5 wards each, depending, because some wards are bigger than others, aren't they? So some of them have far more to travel. They do have the odd vehicle that's available to them. If not, they're going to be dropping off electric bikes at various villages for them to be dropped off, and then they can use their bike.
But that's 12 officers then on 17,
more.
which is no a vast improvement on where we are at the moment.
6, and there will be 6 for the next few months. Yeah. So.
And that's going to happen, we believe.
They've advertised.
Right.
They have got 2, as I said, there's 2 in training at the moment. They're supposed to give us, and I know we get one, the one that does the ward is supposed to give you like a newsletter with what's been going on. We're quite lucky we get it. Some aren't getting it at the moment, but I think that's going to be rectified by the very nice lady that was there. She's a temporary inspector at the moment, so she's sort of, we've got James Chemery.
January, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, James Chemery. Yeah. And if we need to report anything, you do it through the CSU, which, just to confuse everybody, is now not manned.
Right.
So you leave an answer, you either email it in, or as you would, or you just leave a message, and then they will come back to you when someone goes into the office. What else have we got here? That they will send out a harm index every 3 months, which what's going on in the area and how many crimes there's been and things like that. And if there's any nuisance motorbikes, please report the registration number, if you can find it. They don't always have one. Someone asked about drones, but of course you can't. The police have got 2 drone police in the whole of Kent that are licensed to use them, because they have to have a pilot's licence, would you believe? So, yeah.
I'll have to tell my grandson that.
Because they use them for public use, they have to have a licence. The fire brigade have got some, and obviously the harbour board have, but yeah, police have only got 2. we've only got 3 custody suites at the moment. Folkestone, Canterbury and Margate are the only ones with custody suites. Dover Police Station is not open to the public to report things. I think we know that anyway, don't we? It's only an office for them to go in and out of. They don't actually, there's no active police present there unless they've popped in. So it's not bad, but it was quite useful. She's going to try and do this every 3 months, so I'll probably go to the next one when it comes up. But hopefully by then we might have some more recruits.
Lovely. Sorry, I just going back. Sorry.
Can I just ask, did she say anything about what the response time would be if you actually called the CSU and reported something?
She avoided saying any response time. I mean, it could be that you're lucky and it's quite quickly, but it won't be immediate. I've got the
Within 24 hours? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
ballpark?
they would
Within the day?
hopefully within 24 hours, yes. But obviously, if there's no one in there, they've got to wait for someone to go in and then go through all their messages. So she wouldn't actually answer how quick it would be, but she was hoping a day. Yeah, I mean, if it's really urgent, we phone on the man. People do phone up with some funny things, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Pauline. Sorry, going back to the minutes, the question of river gardeners was raised, and obviously it's not on the agenda for tonight. I know 2 of you were getting your heads together possibly on that. I wondered if we moved at all on that idea.
I did invite them. He did say he was on holiday and he would let me know if he could come, and obviously he's probably still away. Is he still away?
Paul's just come back on Sunday,
Oh,
so you might find that you might take a couple of days. There is a couple of responses from the committee, so perhaps Paul's not come back to you with that yet.
Not yet, no. But hopefully he will once he's come back. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I didn't, as you were here, I didn't want to gloss over it. We obviously...
I shall remind you.
Yes, yeah. And just one other thing, Andrew, we don't have a highways issue or item on the agenda, so we should run through, I think, the highway issues. Yes?
Yes.
Right, sorry, at the last meeting 2 or 3 questions came up that Councillor Beresford and the clerk were investigating, and we've got answers on those. May not be the answers we actually want,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Right, we've got the answers back for highways matter. Luckhurst Road to the Luckhurst Road. They've sent the answer back saying there hasn't been a hand. They've gone back as far as their paperwork in the office is, which is 2009, and there's never been a handrail on that rail. Then that's when they started building those houses at the end there in 2009. There wasn't a handrail. She said if someone in that street puts in a request, they will consider it. But that's just
This is the entrance
on
to
the corner.
Luckhurst Road, isn't it?
Yeah. She said they've gone back on where the planning
Sure.
was. There was no handrail there. So, but I mean, if it is causing problems to people, they can put a request in and on our
I did talk to the owner of that.
on property.
Yeah, and she said she wouldn't mind one on
No.
her wall there.
It's her wall, so maybe
Yeah.
she's the one that's got to put the request in.
Yeah, okay, I can ask her.
Sure.
Yeah.
would you? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you could, Shan, that would be perfect. Right. That's
And then we'll
one.
look to see if it's suitable to put one there.
We then had Beresford Road.
We did, yes. Which I know the lady is very interested. Beresford Road, right. Doesn't belong to either KCC or it's not a plough, which is a public right of way. We'll have to do a land registry search, which will need to be done to actually establish who actually owns it now, because it could have changed hands, we don't know. If it's a private sale, we wouldn't know. There's no restrictions for motor vehicles, it's only an advisory notice. So,
But we put that up, I think, didn't we, many years ago, the Parish Council, as I
yeah, it's only
yes.
advisory, so
Yes.
there's no restrictions. And the KCC are quite happy for it to stay like that, obviously. Because there's a road name in there, because there's a road name, isn't there? It doesn't signify any responsibility to anyone. It's more to, they don't want to shut it off because obviously emergency vehicles would use it as well if they had to. But we need to do that land search to find out who
Well,
actually
if
owns it. Yeah,
yes.
to find out.
I mean, the problem was and is, if we do a land search, find out who owns it, and they're either unhappy with it being used as it is, or they're happy, we still have a situation that it's potentially a hazard from there onto
Common lane.
Common Lane.
Yeah.
But
ACC said it's not their responsibility, it's not our responsibility. Because it doesn't belong to them, it's an unmade up road.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
belongs
Right.
to whoever
I
owns
mean,
that
I
piece
just
of
find it
property.
unbelievable that vehicles can actually go down there in the street.
Well, it's, yeah, it's a bit wobbly one side, isn't it?
If I remember correctly, quite a long time ago, somebody told me here that in fact the reason why it was concreted to half the width of that section there was that it was, which I believe the Parish Council paid for, but if they'd have concreted it
Makes
all the
it a
way
road.
across, then of course it would have meant more cars.
Yes.
used
It's
it.
pedestrians,
Yes, and
isn't
that's
it?
right. No, I must
Trams and
admit.
wheelchairs, isn't it, on that bit, yeah.
I do recall in the dim distant past that being mentioned
Yeah.
at a meeting when I was certainly a new boy then, yes. But the question is, should we pursue to see who owns it, or do we let sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah.
And
My-
that's I would
yes.
think.
Would there be much cost involved in
No,
The
no.
search, absolutely no cost.
£18.
Yes, yeah, you know, so no,
Yeah.
very little cost.
satisfied?
£19, isn't it, something
Yep.
like that? Yeah.
What would be the end? What would be the point?
Well,
Because if somebody owned it privately, they're not going
We
to
just
be
know,
able
we
to
just know who owned it, that was all. And then we couldn't do anything about it.
You-
do anything about it anyway.
the problem you've got the highway sign at one end saying basically you can't go through, and we've got an advisory sign at the other end saying if you come up here carefully. So
Yeah.
you've got one sign one end saying one thing, one saying completely the opposite, and I'd never really thought about it. It was brought up at the last meeting, and I said, well, the problem here is we may open a can of worms, and once it starts opening, we won't be able to close it. We could end up with that being shut off. That will upset the Dumfords enormously because they use it to get to and from their premises with their lorries. Yeah, they could come right the way down, but it's really a question now.
Because
The highways haven't jumped up, no one's jumped up and down, so we've
No,
not
they're quite
opened
happy
a
to do
can of
business.
worms, but do we find out who owns it?
Would be interesting.
Yes?
Yeah, we find out who owns it. In case there's ever an accident there, you need to know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the signage this end has been turned
Again.
to the
Yes.
view that seem more visible.
Yes, yep.
And they've cut that tree that was blocking it has been trimmed
Yes.
back.
Oh, right.
But the worry is that if there is an accident there and someone says, well, it said I could come down here, and it's an accident because they've come down there, as a parish council, we're possibly
Could be
responsible.
liable.
Yeah.
David?
If I may change, obviously when I was doing the last bit of work with Commercial Road, just to make obviously one mindful that a lot of parents and children use that to
Yeah,
go to the school and to the shop.
Mm.
So as you say, I would imagine there's some sort of legal entitlement now, it's been there so long that it would have to stay
It's
open.
always been there,
But
though. Yeah.
it probably would affect a lot of villagers if it did suddenly get closed off.
Yeah. I mean, highways are quite content to live as it is.
There's a lot of families use
Yes,
it.
yep. Yeah, no, that was the point I made at the last meeting, that, you know, I thought if we opened it, we'd find out highways would be saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, and
They don't
everyone would be
want
then moaning.
It's not there.
Do you want, just out of interest, then, to find out who owns it for us?
Yeah, I will.
Report at the next meeting, but we'll do nothing. So basically, Dumfords at the moment are quite safe to carry on with what they're doing. I know that was your worry, wasn't it, afterwards, that we'd started something. Let's at the next meeting look at how or what we do, if anything. Okay?
And what's the other one we've got on there?
You had the 21-hour signs.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
Right, the 21 20-mile-an-hour zone. Apparently there are two types of 20-mile-an-hour zones when you apply for them. Additional signage can't be installed, but you could look into the possibility of another round, or we could ask for another sign, but we'd have to put that on our HIP application for the next one.
Another sign, but that would, or we could get a sign if we put it on our
They
hip.
would consider it if we put it
Right.
on the HIP. They could put a 20-mile roundel on the floor, but if we want another post sign, we'd have to apply for that on our HIP, which could take months. and
Right,
months.
right.
Yeah.
The problem, I say, this was raised, the problem is that there is, or there are 20-mile-an-hour signs, but once you go by them, you go right the way along and you haven't got a clue that you should be aware, but a lot of people will say, well, there's no signs here, we didn't think it applied. So we were asking to get some more signs installed. So I think what we do, we accept the offer of the roundel,
Yeah.
and we therefore now need to draw up a plan and include signage on there.
Yeah, because we need some by near the co-op,
Yep.
and then one a bit further down. 'Cause
Correct.
once you go round, you just don't see it until you
Near
get to
the
the
right
third.
oak, somewhere like that.
Yes,
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 There's not
yeah.
anything
There's,
down there.
there's,
I'm sorry, the highway code says that until the repeater sign has changed,
I know.
you stay at that thing.
Yeah, I know
So we're
that.
sort of pandering to people who are not following the highway code.
Well, if
We're
you
sort of
come down,
spoon-feeding people.
if you come down Common Lane opposite to the co-op, there is no sign to say that stretch along there is now 20 miles an hour.
But it hasn't changed, because if it wasn't 20 miles an hour, it would be back to 30, as it is if you turn right.
But there's no 30 mile, there was never any 30 mile an hour sign there either.
But there is now.
Right at the end by the bridge.
Yes,
Yes.
because that's when you go to 30.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if you come down Common Lane, of course you can't turn left because that's the opposite direction. You turn right, there's nothing to tell you that's the 20 mile an hour zone.
That's
If you
the,
don't-
that's the place.
If you
The
don't
round-
I
the
see.
roundel,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
right.
That's
Oh,
what
I
I'm
see.
saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
You joining
Sort
it
of repeater.
halfway up.
Yeah,
Yes.
you want
So it's
something-
not a repeater really, because you...
No,
No,
yeah.
no.
No, if you're coming
Sorry.
down Common Lane and turning right, there's nothing there.
Nothing
That
to
says you're
warn
in
you.
20
No.
mile an hour
That's
zone.
Sorry,
where
to
it
So
go
is.
that's,
down low road.
that's where we
Yeah.
There's
wanted
a
the signage
repeater of
put.
the one,
Yeah.
if you enter
Do you want to do
the,
that? Shall I do
Yeah,
it?
if you come
from
down
this
low
way.
road, then you've got next street.
Right, agreed, we'll go for the roundel. We will look at possibly our plan. I know you're right, we shouldn't pander
You're
to
not,
them,
because there isn't-
but-
there
but
isn't
no,
a 20
but I'm
mile
saying
an
my
hour
worry
zone,
is-
so-
everyone, if we had another one or two signs down there, we might stand a chance of people adhering to it. I know I'm asking for miracles, but because everyone, or a lot of people still drive very quickly through there, very quickly. 30 mile an hour they've ignored, and certainly 20 is more ignored than followed, I think, unfortunately. It's quite a problem, and that's why we wanted, if we could, get another couple of signs along there, just to remind people, and they can't say, oh, we didn't know, we didn't see the signs, so,
Yeah, okay.
but if we put it on our plan, let's see whether or not we can get them. I don't think we will, but yep.
We might be able to get them out, I'll ask them.
lovely. So that's all of the,
just before we leave the highways matters, can I just ask about 101C?
Lower road, yeah.
Now this one, we did ask for a sign to be put up. It's not the reason that this has been drawn up here, but we did ask for a sign to deter HGV drivers who've come all the way from the tunnels up the Orkham Valley and then suddenly
To not turn.
realise that they've ignored all these signs and they can't get their truck underneath the railway bridge.
yep.
And the easiest thing for them is to turn right and come down Drow Road and take their chances. But I thought we asked on the last revision to the HIP for an unsuitable for HGV.
Well, we asked for it, but it hasn't come up yet.
Hasn't come
So
up.
it
That's
will
the
be
thing
on
with the HIP,
the
just
HIP
because
that
it's
we
one of them,
update.
Get them all,
Yep.
You're still on
get
there.
everything done.
Well, that definitely wants to go on.
But it needs to, yeah, that certainly, well, anything that hasn't been done, we won't have altered our thoughts on that, so that definitely
Good.
will be included.
Good.
Right. the updates on the minutes finished, so we move on to item 5 to receive reports from district and county councillors.
Can you go first? I've got that 5-minute report. No, I haven't. I've got a few points. Dover Transport Advisory Board. So, the Scrutiny Committee in KCC have recommended to Cabinet that we do away with that meeting. It happens once a month at DDC. So that potentially is going to the Advisory Board, Transport Advisory Board will be gone. Landlords Forum, there's a range of updates and housing news being brought home from landlords in Dover and Folkestone areas, with the Landlords Forum in Council Chambers at Dover District Council on Friday the 20th of October at 9:30. The forum is being organised by Dover District Council, DDC and Folkestone and Hive District Council, working with the National Resident Landlords Association and the Landlord Association IOS. So we're looking at landlords. The free event is being held to let landlords know more about the latest updates. That's more to do with all the installations and all the sort of new criteria of what's happening if you're a landlord. Dover Job Fair. Dover Job Fair is happening on the 12th of October in the cruise terminal. It's starting at 2:30. It's happening in different events as well. So we've got it cruise terminal at cruise terminal at 9:30. And then we've got Dover Priory Railway Station, Ladywell Station and Pencester Bus Terminal. So there's different, that's where you can get the buses from, sorry, I'm reading this report. So that's where you can get the buses from.
Can you park in there?
Park at Cruise Terminal, yeah. So it was really successful last year, really successful, really successful event in Jobs Fair last year. So that's good. There's a polling station review, so obviously with the last recent sort of elections, reviews basically what the access was like, was there sort of any sort of repairs or anything we needed to be doing to make sure that we can carry on using the polling stations. There's a green infrastructure strategy, so there's a consultation out, Dover District Green Infrastructure Strategy. The consultation website or is a biodiversity at dover.gov.uk. There again, that is basically just trying to bring more green spaces together, better habitat, better nature. So there's a consultation on that to see if and where we can do it and how that will work. And then a couple of local issues really, obviously one, the post office has been brought to my attention. I've sent an email out to obviously the people who sort of run the post office. I haven't had a reply, but I think the councillor been right has, so I imagine it's probably very rambling reply. I think we're going to touch base on that more later. And then secondly, Crabble Cornmill have sort of contacted me with their concerns regarding some repairs. So obviously it's a bit difficult for me to sort of get involved too much with the sort of hat that I'm in, obviously I'm in the construction hat, but I did say I'm more than happy to go down there and, because they've been sort of quoted some serious quotes and all that sort of stuff, so I'll go down and put my eye over it to see if the quotes that they've been quoted off seem to be fair. And also with these good gentlemen, we're going to, it's only going to scratch the surface, but we're going to try and raise sort of £1,300 from our KCC members' grants. And also in the meantime I'm speaking to DDC to see what other grants are out there from our community as well. So that's about really it, Chairman. So that's all that's happening at the minute.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for your help in so many matters behind the scenes. People don't realise, but you and I speak quite a lot.
We do,
You've certainly helped me on a number of issues, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll go first. You've got a double act tonight. You do double, and I just not. Anyway, KCC. You've probably heard on the news the finances of KCC.
That's a technical term.
Well, it's not true. They're not about to go bust, as was reported by one media outlet. It's been difficult year financially, but it's still got to go through full council to get the nod. But there's been no what they call section 114 notice, which is when the government come in and take the council over, and then you're only money go? A lot of it goes on adult social care. Costs are escalated. It's not only care homes that need money spent on them, they're also having a job recruiting, so a bit more noise, having a job recruiting, and so we're supporting them as much as we can. Children's services, another one obviously youngsters starting on, particularly those with special education needs and disabilities. That has really rocketed cost-wise. In fact, it's doubled in the last 5 years. It's now hovering around £75 million a year for the service, plus another just under 70 million for the transport that we have to provide. It's a real challenge to meet the needs there. Highways. You probably noticed a lot of streets in Dover being resurfaced, thanks to being only putting the screws on them. Because it does away with those uneven bits which a lot of people think are potholes, but then they just serve as break up. Well, that's about it, I think. I don't think anything else, do you?
Two things.
Yep.
First of all,
Thank you.
HMS Kent, the ship was given the Freedom of Kent the other day, which was really, really good, and it brought a bit of light and happiness to Maidstone, that was good. Secondly, you've probably seen what's going on down at the Discovery Centre down in the middle of the town, and the library has now moved from there and is going to go to the Gateway. And all the services are going to go to the Gateway that used to be in the Discovery Centre, because the Discovery Centre they're spending 10 million quid on to redo it up and try and get all the services into the Discovery Centre and actually get it being used. So not only will it bring more footfall back into Dover, and this is the problem you've probably heard about, selling off buildings here, selling off buildings there. Yes, they're going to sell them off, but it's all coming into Dover. So in the time they're going to do Dover, it's about 4 years. To do it, sorry, I was on the board. It's a year and a half to do it. To get together, but they are still keeping the theatre. So all the people that turn around saying the theatre's going, don't listen to Facebook, don't listen to social media. There was a big outcry a year and a half ago, but it was saved. It was going to cost me too much money to do the theatre, but the theatre is not going to be in the same format it was before. It's going to be more commercially orientated, etc. So it will still be a community theatre, but it will be used a little bit more, and it will go out to, the Blackfish will have it, yes, that's great, but it will be put out to some to organise it better. And hopefully it will have better amenities in there at the timing. So there will be changing rooms, there will be laboratories, whereas before they're not. It wasn't, it was just basically a stage. Those are basically the two things, I think. Apart from what Nigel said, it's in adult social care and child social care, a lot of the problems are statutory. So Nigel said, yes, we're in problems, we are in problems, but it's all statutory problems because we have to do it, and we're not getting given money from the government. And it's the kids and adult social care, and that's why it's huge. But we're okay this year. We'll see what's going to happen next year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Anyone got any questions? Thank you, the two of you, dynamic duo, nicely presented. And David, thank you very much. Right, we'll move on. An update on the River Post Office closure. Just for the sake of the meeting, I did visit the pharmacy. I saw the owner. Right, thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry.
Eh? Oh,
Don't we, what about
you missed the Parish
5B?
Council, is it?
Sorry?
5B?
Yeah, 5B.
5B.
They've got nothing to say. Yes. Parish Council starting
You want
with
to finish
Mike,
by
yes?
saying
Very
Right.
briefly, after 6 month hiatus, we've now got a new catchment officer of the Environment Agency, who I hope to meet in combination with Whitecliffs in the next 2 or 3 weeks. She wasn't present at a virtual meeting I was at today, but she's called Sarah Gomez, and she'll be looking after the river here. And so we need to get in contact as soon as she's available, which I'll do.
Wonderful.
Yep.
No, certainly, I would like you very much to take responsibility. I know you have for the river.
Yeah.
And for me, 3 important, well, river, the village itself, the wreck, the mill and the river. And we need to try to make certain we do the maximum possible.
Yeah.
And certainly I think with the river, we could do far more, but we need you to push us and to steer us in the right direction. So if you wouldn't mind making that your priority,
Absolutely.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem, yeah.
Sorry, Clive. No. Lynn, any report? No.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention the middle lay-by up in London Road, the one between number 59 and 65. Well, the council waste bin that was there has disappeared. It's been vandalised before now or thrown in the bushes. And I had a look around and couldn't find it. So I duly contacted or emailed whoever at the council offices, and they came back to say that they were aware of it, and it was on the list to be replaced, but it would take some time because of a lack of personnel. But surprisingly, considering the waste bin is no longer there seems to be less littering going on, which is amazing. But anyway, that's something that's happening up there.
That's in hand.
Elsewhere around the
But that
village,
is in
but
hand with DDC. to
It
replace
is in
it.
hand, yeah.
Thank you.
But it's just waiting for it to be done now.
Lovely. Thank you.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. I've had mentioned this before, that I had this idea of doing a drive-through advent calendar for the village. So I put my feelers out a couple of days ago to see if anybody would be interested to do that. So various houses in the village would decorate a window each, numbered 1 till 24, and then they light them, and then people can just drive through and have a look.
Everyone will want to be number 24 because with the cost of power.
No, I had people
No,
who
I'm
go
joking.
early.
I'm
I
joking.
had quite a
yes.
few saying, please early. So I
Yes.
had quite a
Yeah.
big interest there. So I'm just trying to
Good.
find.
No, lovely idea.
No, it's 24 different houses. I just need to spread them that
Everywhere,
the whole
Yep.
village is kind of covered.
Yeah.
Nice idea. Yep.
Yeah.
Brilliant. If you need any help, shout. Okay.
I don't think it's much other than
No.
Pauline? Right, sorry. We will move now on to item 6, update on the river post office closure. As I said, I received a number of calls and emails with regard to it. So I made a point, I spoke to Andrew, and I popped in and saw the owner of the pharmacy, and she explained the situation fully, said that it certainly was not of their making, that it was the post office who were forcing them into the situation, and they were really, really unhappy because no matter what they said, they didn't get answers, or if they did, they were negative all the time. She kindly gave me the contact at the post office and a phone number, which I passed on to Andrew. Andrew wrote, I gave that number, the email also to David Beanie. I know he's mailed, but he's had no reply. So we have started looking at it. I think you have some answers, Lynn, is that right?
No, I
or-
haven't. I mean,
Oh, you haven't?
I spoke to Dr. Mead, who isn't part of the the pharmacy anymore, but he said, as you said, that actually it was the post office that withdrew, and the owners were very keen to keep the post
Yes.
office in-house. I've had a reply from the post office. I just emailed their generic post box, and they actually say, to clarify, The postmaster has resigned from operating the service. Post Office Limited do not own the premises and therefore we are unable to continue to operate a service from the premises following the postmaster's resignation. Which,
Does that mean if they get another postmaster, they
That's
would
not nice.
continue? Yes.
well, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But actually, I mean, did the owners say that they had removed their position as
Yeah.
postmaster?
That's what that implies.
That's what that implies.
Yes.
It's the owners that stepped back from the post office.
Yes.
And so they couldn't continue with the post office because there wasn't a postmaster anymore.
Right. Have you heard back, Andrew?
Well, I had an abridged version of
Yes.
of the email that Lynn received.
Right.
I sent
Oh,
this
right.
to you, haven't I?
Yes.
It
Yes.
was cut and paste, so it was slightly shorter.
I think we
And
go
David
back- I
Beattie's
think
not
we
got
need to-
one.
I think we need to go back and say, actually, you're lying to us.
Can you
Isn't that down
send
to
a
the owner?
Well, maybe it
Yeah.
is down to the owner.
I mean,
because
if they want to
it-
keep it, they'll fight for it.
Yeah, but if
Well,
the post
I
office
think-
won't give them a postman, they can't keep it. Postmaster, they can't keep it.
I think we certainly need to respond,
Hmm.
yes, slightly firmer and ask for a clear understanding. Are they saying the post office could continue if, and I assume they are the ones that find the postmaster?
Post office are.
Yes,
Yeah, they should
yes.
be, shouldn't they?
So,
I mean, I don't
owners-
think we're going to win.
No, but
They shut them everywhere.
we've certainly, would you do
I'll
that
go
please?
back to
Yes,
them,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll go back, slightly stronger worded
I
note.
mean, have they asked if we've got two post offices, then you've got Crabble and you've got London
Trouble,
Road.
yes, yeah.
I know it's not a direct route on the bus, but is it the post office able to ask them if they could do one day a week or something here, one morning or something? It's been done in other places where my niece lived, they've got one that comes in once a week,
Yeah,
comes
could
in
we
and
just-
opens it up.
Yep.
Yeah. So they kept it in the same
Because
place.
the original preamble very much said the situation on the high street, the pressure, fall in returns. So for me, it was a post office saying, cut
Well,
our
you've got
losses.
Biggin
Yeah.
Street, you've got London Road, you've got Crabble, and you've got the one at Whitfield, all within 2 miles of each other.
Can you
I reckon there's
somehow
another
include
Temple York.
reference to that in the letter? Yes.
Temple York.
No, that's shut. That's been shut for
Yeah,
years,
why
a couple of years.
That's been shut down,
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I had an email as a district councillor about this from a River resident suggesting that we should be having a special meeting about it, which I don't really know what you would gain from that if we're already on it.
We're from, and I would think the person you're talking to or talking about, I've had numerous phone calls and emails from a particular resident. Immediately went to the pharmacy to get their side of the story, got contact numbers. I've given those to David Beanie because they didn't know where to go, and having a meeting particularly for it, I can't see. I'll willingly have a meeting, but point is having a meeting for the sake of sitting there and repeating everything we're saying. All we can do is to protest, which we are doing. Ask some hopefully difficult questions for them to answer. Suggest that a roving postmaster comes in one day a week or something. Let's put forward some suggestions, but I can't see. I mean, David Beanie spoke to me because he'd been approached pretty heavily, and that's when he said, "Look, I don't know where to go," and I gave him the contact, and he said, "Right, I'll try." He said, "But I know that I'll be lucky if I get a reply," and he's not even had the courtesy of reply. You had the best reply. Andrew's got half of your reply. David Beanie's got none, which is unfortunately an awful situation to
And
be
all
in.
residents can write to the
they
post office.
Yes, yep.
Put their
But no, I just wish we could do more, but I think we're doing as much as is possible, and I think you're right. The post office have made a decision, and they're not going to back down. Right, okay. So I wish we could say more, could do something more positive, but at least we can try to push them for some other,
We need an answer.
some answers, yes. Item 7, any questions from the public?
post office nuisance in River, is when you go there, it's never open. You know, Christmas time,
Doesn't do parcels.
yeah.
No, it's not doing that.
So, you know, it's not fully functioning, is it? Not really. I mean, you can go up to Whitfield and be honest, they're thorough up there, they're
Yes.
excellent. I mean, all right, you've got to have a car or transport to get up there. But I think if we had that service here, you know, but it's what it is.
But unfortunately, that service comes with a price, I think, and that's a
Yeah.
full-time person, you know, dedicated, taking in far more revenue, more than I think the post office does.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't warrant that form of, unfortunately, love to have it, but we never have I think, a full-time post office here again. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but, okay, so no questions from the public.
I've got one email
Yep.
that came in. It's related to the post office. It's from Judith Betts. I will not say anything that hasn't been printed about the closure of the post office, except to say now it is time to get Stagecoach to reinstate the original route of the river bus so that we can at least get to Crabble post office. Otherwise, there's no post office within reach without a car.
But having heard what KCC are struggling to do, who were previously subsidising some of the bus routes, we haven't got a chance of that happening.
They don't subsidise the actual, those ones, they only
Yeah.
subsidise school buses.
But
and
I'm
special
just saying
needs
that
ones.
Stagecoach have cut back what they're doing.
Can't get the drivers at the
Yep.
moment.
But
keep
they are
cutting
saying
their
as well,
buses.
there just isn't the numbers to make it viable. And unfortunately, it does come down to numbers.
Yeah. 60
Right, I mean, I think all we can do to reply to that, to say that obviously we have made representation to Stagecoach, we have spoken to them, but at this stage in time, they're adamant that the service we have is all they can afford to give us without subsidies. They won't lose money. But if you can at least give a short reply, please.
Yep.
All right, planning matters.
Ah, right, okay. Right, I've got 4. First one is Lewisham Road. I think it's Lewisham Road, isn't it? Yeah, they're going to put an extension on the back, can't they? It's quite a, well, they're taking something down, they're going to take the roof up, and it was quite nice actually what they're going to do. It isn't, by the looks of it, I haven't had any comments against it or for it. So it's just a normal application, no comments on it. They're going to take down the existing conservatory and build out it, aren't they?
No, that's not what we do.
It's not, yeah, it's not showing.
Is it showing?
No.
Modern technology.
And they're going to take the roof up a bit and put dormers in.
Looks quite nice.
It's, yes, and it doesn't, the actual size of it isn't actually
See?
going to include.
What's that?
No,
Oh, look at that. I knew it would work. Well done.
Got his new toy out.
it doesn't seem to, it's
Yeah,
not
I-
any, it's not any
No, it's
bigger
not. Well, it can't
than
be.
the actual
It's too close.
size that's there at the moment. It's the same sort of size, it's just changed that top bit slightly, but the actual space it takes up on the ground is exactly the same. And we haven't had any complaints from any of the neighbours. There's no one's written in.
That's very cool.
I think you'll find that the applicant here is a brother of one of the TDC planning officers.
Probably. He's got to go through Dover, he has to go through.
Yeah.
Although that is taken away from whoever it is.
Amber Thornton.
Yeah, they have to take it away, but yeah, it's not taking any more space up.
No, no.
I haven't got any objections. I can't find any objections online to it. So yeah.
Lynn, did you want to look at the plans or you've got them there? All right.
Has anyone
Thank you.
that might have seen it got any? No. No. I've got no objections. That is it.
Okay, no objections, Andrew.
Yeah. Number 2 is.
Can we put number 2 up?
In a minute.
Or is that pushing it? We're getting
No, it's Adobe Constant wants to sign in.
Oh, that's annoying though. Look at the wall. This is Free River Drive. Put an extension on. I've put a rooftop extension, so the actual, you can take it up over the a bit where the garage is and the door there, so it's not, the base isn't taking up any more space. No one's put any comments against it. It's not encroaching on anybody. It's not taking any more space up. It's just going across the top. It's a roof extension, which a lot of them already had done. So no.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yeah, looks quite nice actually on the plans. Can't see any objections to that. Yeah.
Sorry if members of the public, you're looking at a cursor going up and down the screen, but it's quite exciting.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quite exciting.
Yeah, it's not.
Going to fall off.
It's making use of a garage space that probably can't be used at the moment with modern cars.
Too narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you can get.
You get in,
Yes.
but you can't get
yeah.
out.
Can't get out
You
the car.
can't get out your car,
Doors.
not now.
Why, does it grow overnight?
Well, my garage is quite small.
No, garages are so small, they were.
But the cars were small.
On there.
Yeah.
It needs to be filled
But I
up.
suggested what we do, we get a screen and we possibly pull
Put
that
it
further
back,
back. And,
yeah.
yes. Sorry, we are trying. I do apologise.
Yeah, and then,
If you get the screen over there,
Yep.
yeah, you can do it
Yes.
better then, can't we?
Yes.
Yeah,
Can you organise that, Andrew, for the next meeting?
yeah, I don't
Get
think
us a
it's
screen.
because I want to go to the next one.
I've got screens here, I could bring one.
All right.
We'll need the trolley to carry all this stuff in. No, I'm not joking.
Oh dear.
or something on the sheet.
Yeah. The next one. So we're going to carry on with that.
What?
Right, the next one is 27 Gravel Road,
Right, so we're okay on that one, yes?
which they're erecting an annex. Yeah, the first, that other one, yes, there's no objections to it or anything. There's an annex, which is in their piece of land. There's nothing around it that's going to cause a problem. I'm not quite sure how many.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it's in the end of their garden.
Yes.
Bank,
Yeah,
the railway track.
And where is this? Sorry.
it's right against the
Gravel
bank, isn't
Road.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise there was a bungalow back there.
Yeah.
It's,
Yes, there is. There's two back there, isn't there?
they've really bitten off more than they can chew, I think, with the response from Network Rail.
Yeah. The Network Rail, when everyone's put a planning application in now that backs onto the railway, they come up with a big
Dear, dear.
response and certain
Oh,
things
they
they've
have
not
on
done.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite, yeah, committed, shall we say. Power. Yeah. But they have actually updated their responses, and this is quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. But it's not.
Actually, it's quite large, and if you look at it in relation to the existing property,
Oh, it's the same size.
it's the
wasn't
same.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is another bungalow at the back. There is room for it.
But have you noticed over the last few years, I mean, this idea of an annex,
Yes.
has grown legs, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
It makes, yes. Well, if you've got the land, it makes sense.
Yeah,
And
the first
also-
one I remember was the farm up at Miss Lane,
Oh, that one, yes.
where they built another bungalow there,
Yes.
which was described as an annex.
I mean, this is just a straightforward annex, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not a special use or anything, is it? So
No,
it'll be up to planning whether they agree with it, but there is certainly room to put it in without.
but it's pretty much hidden. I mean,
It's at the back, there's access to it, it's not going to
Yes.
cause a problem.
Yep.
So it'll be up to planning, but there is no objections to it.
well, there is from Network Rail, is there not?
Well, Network Rail objection,
Yeah.
yes,
But that's only
No.
one.
that's the only one, there's no public objections. That's a consultee, isn't it? Yeah. They're objecting, but they've objected to everything, maybe.
Right.
So apart from
So
that
no
one.
objections on that one?
No, no. This one's got one comment on it, but that's in favour of it, this one. which is Dinwood Road. They want to put a post road extension on, don't they? It's not actually going to impinge, the only side it might impinge on is one of them, but when you look at it from the air, it's a bit bigger than that. It's not going to impinge on anyone's, it's not going nearer anyone's boundaries. It's just going upwards, isn't it? They're taking a bungalow and making it 2 stories, which is quite a lot. Quite a lot up there.
And the residents either side of it are bungalows?
I've only had one comment and that was in favour of it.
Yes, but are they bungalows or
Yeah.
will, yes?
Well, some of them are now chalet bungalows. So,
Yes.
So, yeah, and some have extended, so
So there's no objection
there's
to
no
an extension
objections.
one.
Yeah. It's not going any nearer the next door neighbours, it's just going upwards. So if anyone wants to object, if they think they're going to be overlooked, they haven't put it in so far. So I can't see any objections on that one either.
There've been quite a few of these applications to roof off a bungalow
Deanwood Road, yeah.
in Dinwood Road,
Yeah.
haven't there?
There's a lot of them as you go up, they're all,
I don't think any of them have been built.
I think there's one under construction at the moment, but some of them have just ended up
I
with
think-
orders.
Because I've got a little theory about this. You know, I think that once they start getting the cost in,
It's expensive.
they find that it's just not.
That's a lot of money to do what he
There
wants
was
to do.
one up there in Minnis Lane again, beyond that farm, where there was the place just called the Bungalow,
Yeah.
and he's having a huge house that's almost completed now, just behind it, and the bungalow will be demolished. But originally, that's, I presume it's the same applicant, he did the same thing. He put in an application which we approved here for taking the roof off and raising
I think
it.
it's actually cheaper to build a new house than it is to actually
Yep.
take your roof up
Yeah,
because of the conditions you have
I
to do.
just
Actually,
Right.
is there?
take the
Right.
view that
So we've
it's
no
just-
objection to
No
that
objections to any of those.
one. Lovely.
I think it's just
Decisions, Andrew?
None.
environment.
Nothing.
Mm.
Apart from that.
Right. Moving on, financial matters. Over to you, Andrew. Yes?
Well, I've emailed. You've got a cut down version of it, which is basically just the report, 6-month report, and the transactions for the last month. I've emailed you a full copy of everything, including bank reconciliation and the statements, etc. Bank reconciliation, you know, says a 10p difference, which obviously me typing in the wrong number somewhere, but it'll come out and wash at some stage.
10p is quite good.
Yeah,
Yes.
not bad. So, I don't know if you want to have a look at the report side. Basically, I've got the budget and the actual situation after 6 months since the financial year. We've had a very expensive time in certain elements, particularly repairs and renewals in the recreation ground. And a couple of projects as well. A lot of other things are completely on track, as you can see from the budget. I've done also projected income for the full year, just to try and get a flavour of where we are. So at the moment our total spend 51,000. Our projected income, obviously we've got precepts in already, event income is already in, the money from the bowling club for water. Office lease payments will come in month by month. The Rec Cafe lease payments will start as of October. And the VAT is en route. So it'll be 14,700. So our total income for the year will be about 96,000. A rough estimate of what we may spend in the year is about 89,000. So a small surplus. So right down at the bottom is a sort of a rough and ready estimate as to where we may be at the end of the year. Obviously bearing in mind we may have the project in the
Correct.
in the recreation
Yes.
ground coming up. So we started the year on 57,666. Receipts in the year projected at 96,027. Payments in the year projected as 89,000, nearly 90,000. So closing balance somewhere in the region of 63,000.
Up in the world.
So obviously we've got to bear in mind that we need to be keeping some kind of reserve. The
March, obviously, that's before we get the
Sub
precept.
KCC.
We then have the precept.
precept
Yes.
comes in at the beginning of April.
And the precept will be 60.
Would be whatever we
Yeah,
set
whatever,
it
yes,
to be.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean we're looking really at that project being funded over the two,
Yes,
spanning the 2 financial years,
yes.
the current one and the next one. Is there anything else I need to put on that? I mean the what reserve we want to keep. Obviously that's we're going to have to decide at some point. We did talk about deposit accounts because we do not have any deposit accounts at the moment. All we have is a current account. There actually aren't as many options as you might think for our particular sector. We'd obviously need an account with 2 signatories. We're looking for a good rate of interest. But all of the fixed term ones that I've been looking at have been much higher levels of deposit. They're looking for 100,000 before they're sort of starting to give you serious money. Or they're personal type things, which wouldn't necessarily be dual signatory. So the 2 I've got here, our own bank, Unity Trust Bank, do a deposit account with for 2.75% gross, which is a instant access. Or the other one is Metro Bank,
Oh,
which would be
yes. I certainly.
I'll leave that one alone.
Yes.
But that's about the only thing that's a community fixed term deposit account. So it's a fixed term, but it is paying 4%.
And that's with who?
So that's Metro Bank.
Metro. And your 80,000 is guaranteed, apparently. No, they were just on the news.
I know, they just rescued her a bit.
Yes. No.
I'll give that one a miss, I think.
But 2.75, that's not great, but that's still with the amount of money, and if you've got instant access, it would possibly make
Better
sense.
than not much at all.
I mean,
Exactly.
you could, with it being the same bank, at least it'd be easy to transfer, hopefully. So you
Yes.
could
You
put
just take it
a
across.
very large amount across.
Yeah, you
and leave it
only
there
just-
until we need it.
Yes.
Yes, and then just
Yes.
bring it back.
Switch it.
Yeah.
Yes. And I must admit, I would say to Andrew, the online banking is amazing, isn't
Seems
it?
that much,
It really,
isn't it?
yes, it's really efficient, very easy to operate. Unfortunately, yeah, we've spent a lot of money recently, but we could see it going out. But it's certainly, well done on that. The choice of the bank, I think, was good. The system is amazing. But I would say we go for the 2.75, we put in as much as we can, and we simply swap it back as and when we're making
If
payments.
we know it's coming up.
If you wouldn't mind, Andrew, I know it's a little bit of extra work for you, but that certainly would make sense.
Well, hopefully it's as easy as it has been with transactions, that I just
Yes.
set up the transfer and then you authorise it.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So are we all happy if we went for the 2.75?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay, I'll set up that.
yep.
On that matter, did we what sort of figure would you think we should transfer into the...
Well, we can put the maximum amount. I mean, we've got 60,000. All Andrew's got to do is hold back 5,000 or something. He can put 55. We can put the maximum, and he just brings, as soon as he's making payment, he brings that money back.
I mean, I'll check to make sure it is as quick as that, so we don't get stuck somewhere, but...
One comes back sent down, but it's worth checking, isn't it?
But I mean, that's as I understand it. We can swap it as we want to in, and it's earning 2.75, even if it's a single day. we've got 2.75.
Yeah.
I think the next item B then is this request from the Crevel Cornwall Trust for support towards repairs on the bridge. I think I sent you all a digital copy of this.
Yeah.
I printed it out myself, but it's basically problems with the main access bridge. They've had several different quotes. They're quite happy with the lowest one, which is £1,800.
There's a big gap between the lowest
6, 7, I think, 6, 7 and 1,800, yes, colossal difference. They say they've used that contractor before.
We need to know which bit of work he's doing or how much the other ones are doing. Are they going to renew the whole thing? Or?
Well, no, I think looking at, they've quoted for exactly the same job.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I said at the last meeting I wanted to try to work more closely with the mill. I said for me the village is 4 pieces. You've got the village itself, you've got the recreation ground, you've got the mill, and you've got the river. The river, Mike is looking after for us now, hopefully. The wreck, I think, is for the first time ever financially standing on its own 2 feet. When Clive and I were first involved, we were £28,000 to £30,000 a year poured into the wreck, year after year after year, and that was just to mark time. We've now got to the situation that we are covering the actual outlay apart from any emergency repairs or repairs we need to do. Yes?
You might want to add the village hall to your list as well as important places.
Yes, yep. I wasn't leaving it out, but I thought you stood on your own 2 feet pretty much, yes, yeah, they're financially quite well. I think the mill, obviously the approach from the mill I welcome. I'd like to be certain that we know what we're getting. I'd like to be certain that we understand the mill's financial position. I really would like to possibly say, if we agree that we will assist them, that we would want to see their books so we could be certain that the money will be put to good use, and possibly we'll insist if we pay their supplier direct. I know we've done that in the past.
Yeah, just one thing, Mr. Chairman. Councillor Meany did mention that he was looking at...
That's at my response. Yeah, that's one of the things that Dave is helping with. No, I just said I know the mill are struggling, and I'd spoken to their treasurer, but I want to help. I'd like us to agree that we would do, that we would look at assisting them with the £1,800, but as I say, I would want to see, just to make certain that we're not throwing good money after bad, and that's, yes, sorry. Yeah,
I mean, they talk about that they've had some work done and they had volunteers with doing fundraising and donations. Do we know what other sort of applications they make for funding in other
No,
other
got a
places?
clue,
'Cause
that's
it's,
why.
no, they haven't mentioned any. I don't
So it
know.
might be worth looking at that and ensuring that they go hunting for money from other places as
Yes.
well.
Oh, yes,
Particularly if they're financially finding things difficult.
Yep. Well, I was going to suggest possibly 2 or 3 of us meet with them, and we have a formal sort of meeting just to fully understand what it is they're doing. I do understand that they are in a difficult financial position. You're right. We need to understand that. We need to ensure that they are looking wisely for other funding, and I wouldn't want to put £1,800 into it if we find it's just going into a hole that's getting bigger and bigger. So my suggestion would be we go back to the mill and say, yes, in principle we're prepared to help, but we'd like a meeting with them. We'd like to have an open discussion and with them look at their accounts. and yeah,
See where they can get funding.
yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Do you know that
We did that
the,
before with someone as well, yeah.
Are you aware of the fact that they're not holding the cider festival this year?
Yes.
They cancelled,
They apparently said they lost £10,000 last year on it. That was actually posted by the treasurer, that it
Yeah.
cost, they lost £10,000 on it.
yeah.
If I may say, I've been here 11 years, and I think that the thing with the mill is that they seem to pursue repetition rather than innovation in terms of events. Now, amongst the events they do 3 or 4 a year, there must be one cash cow in there, but I think they've really got to dump the ones that are the losers and come up with another concept, because I think creatively there's so much opportunity for that building.
I think so, but I think the difficulty may be that the mill can't agree between the committee, whoever runs it, on what to do, or they don't have that vision. And I really think that, yes, I would like us to understand fully their situation, and so would welcome 2 or 3 others with me to meet with them, to sit down and really try to understand the position they're in and what they need to do to come out of it.
I think the letter came from Sharon, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, Dave and the others can raise some money, but they're still going to need a lot more. for
Oh
other
gosh,
things,
that's a,
yeah.
I mean,
Just for that, isn't it? Yeah.
but
I know they want volunteers for their Christmas thing, otherwise they can't run that.
can we in principle
Yeah.
agree that yes, we would help them with that
Yes,
£1,800, but
We
we
need,
would want a face-to-face meeting with them where we can openly discuss
yeah.
Their funding.
the fund.
Must be
Yes,
connected to some sort of historical buildings charity.
it was originally the Cleary Trust, wasn't it? Mr. Hall,
Cleary.
can you explain? You may know better than I do. The Cleary, it was a Cleary Foundation or
It
Cleary?
was Cleary Foundation, yes,
Yes.
it was. I don't know, Dover District Council got involved. Councillor, I can't think of her name, the Deal Councillor. She was one of the trustees at that time, and I don't know how it came about, but I became a trustee in 2006. And at that time, the finances were very, very limited, and they were very fortunate in as much as a gentleman in the village called Roger Cuff
Oh yes.
left them a request of £20,000, which they used to keep the mill afloat. But when I joined, there was, I can't remember how many trustees there were, 5 I believe, and I don't know what the situation is now. I resigned in 2019.
Yes. But who actually run? When I say it's out of the Cleary Foundation, is it?
Where it ceased to be the Cleary Foundation and Dover District Council got involved, I've no idea.
Right.
I can answer that.
Oh.
It was the building was owned by the Cleary Foundation. They did the original restoration in the early 70s, about 72. It was then leased to Dover District Council, who opened it as a museum. And they closed it somewhere around 1986, I think, because of the mounting costs of repairs. And it passed over to the Crowell Cornmill Trust in 1987, I think. When the lease was handed back and the ownership was handed over from the Cleary Foundation, and the trust have owned it since then, and it was they who did the full restoration in 1989, 1990.
And it's a charitable institution.
It's a charitable trust. Yeah.
It is. Right. But I mean, if we're all agreed that in principle, yes, we will. But and I would certainly like 2 or 3 of you to please come with me to actually meet them, to discuss it and to try to understand their true position. Yes, and what we can do overall to help them. If if we feel it's the right thing to do. Lovely. So if you can record that, let them know that, Andrew, and yep, call for a meeting. Thank you. Right, River Recreation Ground. The cafe is open, up and running. John Hill's still got a few bits and pieces to finish off the backyard. There's a pile of bricks. He's partly done the fencing, but it is quite well used now. Unfortunately, they're working weird hours, but that's up to the ladies that are running it. But when it's open, it's quite popular. We've used it a few times just for coffee and bits and pieces. So the Rec Cafe, or the Rec, is now up and running. I met with the tennis club last week, and they are saying that whilst it's an awful lot of work they do, their club is financially better off than it has been for years. And yeah, them being forced to look at things slightly differently has done them good. So I mean, that's good. They were giving it one last cup, lining it, and that was only at the weekend. I mean, it's quite amazing. And the Bowls Club have just gone from strength to strength, and they're one of the local clubs that have got many more members year on year on year. They're doing extremely well, and yeah, they're saying it was the best thing that ever happened. Whilst they hated us for doing it initially, certainly hated me, they now say that it's the best thing that ever happened. Yes. So good. We've got rangers back in. Their container is there. It's surrounded by trees. They have offered us the front of the container to use for our freight materials. So our tables and our chairs, depending on how much space they take up, we can possibly have 15, 20 foot of the container. It's a 40-foot container. Two of us at the weekend had quite a clear out. All of the metal that was down there, and there's a lot of metal, was picked up on yesterday. And on Saturday, we were there Saturday, and then on Sunday, I actually took out all of the rubbish, everything that we thought was absolutely no use. We got the good gazebos, put them to one side, and everything else went to the dump. That took me a couple of trips on Sunday, but we are now as clear as we have been for a long time in there. Unfortunately, there's still a bit of rubbish of John Hill's chairs for the cafe, which the girls don't want, so John knows he's got to move those. But basically...
The sink is gone?
Yes, it's well done, that went with the metal, yes, I think he loved you. But so the Rec is moving forward well. I had reason to drop a text to John because he relayed the tarmac path, but I noticed there's some weeds coming through the tarmac. I said to John, you know, yeah, this. So I saw him today. He was working along Lower Road, just along from me, and I saw him, and he said, "Yes, I'm going to go in. I'll have a look, and don't worry, we will sort it." He had a contractor that laid it for us, but for it this early on to have weeds coming through, and the old path, there's not a single weed coming through anywhere. So yes, I've just said to John, sort it. The lease for the cafe, Andrew's got a copy to sign on behalf of the Parish Council. John and Joe Hill have copies. That is confirming that the rent starts from the 1st of October for a period of 5 years. So we now know we've got £3,500 a year for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, we've got a building that's ours in an extremely good condition, and we can either release it to him or release it to a third party, or run it as River Parish Council, which I would not suggest we do. No, the tea rooms in Kersney Abbey are, but certainly things, and I said, I alluded to it earlier, but for the first time in all the time I've been on the council, the Rec is no longer costing us money to maintain. It's actually, and that's with football being there, and it doesn't cost them a penny. They're not paying us anything for it. They're doing extra cutting themselves and lining themselves. Now that Andrew with Steve and Mark finalised the agreement between us and them, they're now going to the FA, and they will get funding for the cutting, funding for the lining, and also a programme of enhancement of all of the areas that are used as pitches. So it's for them. I mean, Rangers can't believe it. They're there. It's not costing them a penny. It's very well supported with youngsters. If you go there of a weekend or an evening, it's lovely to see. You know, it's packed some days, but it's as it should be. That's really good. I asked Andrew, and he's done it. We've ordered our Christmas tree already to get it nice and early. It will be up from the 1st of December. The cafe apparently want to have a little Father Christmas bits and pieces, so that's up to them. But I've said the tree will definitely be in place, will be up, and will be illuminated from the 1st of December. We may have half the lights on in view of the cost of power, but no, we will. So that's moved well. I'm just trying to make certain I cover everything. I think that is me completely finished on the rec, but I say it's nice, sort of sigh of relief. Everything has suddenly come together, and I say to actually have the rec absolutely self-sufficient with that 3,500 of rent coming in. That was the last bit. We were a few £1,000s out of pocket. We're now, the actual cost of GW landscaping is covered completely by the rental and more, so it's good. The other thing I haven't mentioned, trees. We had to put in for planning permission. The trees are catching the top of buses. We've got planning permission. We have on the 30th and 31st tree surgeons there attacking the top of the trees, the underneath of the trees because they're hanging over the pathway, and unfortunately there's also one tree that needs felling. Have we got permission for that?
Not yet.
But they think, yeah, they're fairly certain we'll have it, so hopefully we can get that done at the same time. But the tree work was sort of £2,500, unfortunately. It's got to be done. If a bus gets damaged, we've got a claim from the bus company. I'd hoped they would have been able to have done it earlier, but it's the 30th and 31st, and I say I hope it will include the felling of one of the big trees. But we are certainly, I think the wreck is in the best condition it's ever been, maintenance-wise and financially. As I say, it's been a burden on the parish. You know, give it a year or two, and we will feel a massive difference in what we have available to spend around the village. It's been a drain on us for all these years. So that is the wreck as it is.
Actually, one other thing for the rec, you have all got a copy of the draft agreement.
Oh gosh, yes, Rangers, yes.
This is, well no, not Rangers, this is the draft agreement for the community use facilities. This is the document that will enable Sport England to remove their objection. So we will ultimately need this approved and signed by ourselves and the planning authority, I understand it. This puts in place all of the kind of various safeguards that they want them to say what we're going to do with the building.
So the idea is that this would then be copy of the signed document would be sent to Sport England?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they would then be required to remove their objection.
Yeah.
They've said that providing this is in place, they will, yes.
Yeah.
But it's taken a long time. Yeah, sorry, I meant to mention that because that's quite important. It's dragging on. Is that? Have we all seen that?
I've sent it. You've all got a copy there.
Yes.
It's got one more diagram still to go in. The diagram of the community room itself. Apart from that, it's complete. Apart from typos or whatever. I'll need to send it to Sport England for so that they can say that it's okay.
Who's signing it at Dover District Council?
No idea. I'll have to take some kind of advice from Sport England or from planning department to see who.
But you can see nothing is easy. You know, it's so difficult, and we've really, with Rangers, helped them enormously, but Sport England is still making it very difficult for us. And they know that we want that for football and a general meeting room for the village. Right. So that was 11 to review the plans. Oh, yep. No, this is the plan. Yes,
the
sorry.
actual
Yes,
plans
yeah.
for
Right. I just wanted to run through with everybody just to make certain that with the amount of storage that we need in there, whether we need at this late stage to consider that. Clive, can you take us, because this is your baby, if you wouldn't mind, just to explain what's going to be left and what's it going to be, just so we make certain that with what we've done and with Rangers offering part of their container, storage is still a problem, but not the problem it is at the moment.
The object of the exercise is to create this large meeting room with an access through the existing doorway at this end. The other doorway would be blocked up. It's a bit difficult to...
You want me to hold it for you?
Can we
I don't know if we can get this any bigger.
I just hold it and then you can
Sorry.
give me a little letter that way.
Can we?
Maybe best if I
Yes,
stood
that's
around there.
what I thought. Thanks, Clive. Thank you.
Hold that up. The object of the exercise really fundamentally is to create this large meeting room. There are some windows at the front, one existing and one proposed, and it's also proposed to put 2 windows at the back and an emergency exit door. So the windows at the back would be these 2, that's right, and the door here. There's provision here for male toilet, female toilet, and a small kitchen. And also these 2 shower rooms that exist here at the moment would be designated as floor spaces.
Yep.
That's
And this,
basically it.
yeah, because this storage area now is absolutely clear, isn't it? That's what we've got, and we've got the little bit. This is all coming down. Yes, yep. But I think that there's plenty of storage there. Christian, I'm looking at you because obviously you can see we've got store, but we've still got a nice size meeting room.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where the existing divider is between the 2 changing rooms. So that's the smaller changing room, and that's the big one, isn't it? So it's putting them into one room.
The work involved actually includes doing a little bit of brickwork here and here, but fundamentally it's working from the existing sort of space and making sort of subdivisions to form these female toilet, male toilet, and the kitchen up here. But it's working with the existing as much as possible.
What we will have to do is to find for the tennis club somewhere for their mowers, because certainly there's no way we can allow them to bring mowers into the store. So that's just not a challenge, but it's something that we'll have to sort out, is how or where we provide maybe for them, because we said they could have storage, but we'll put a small hut or something in the tennis, and they'll keep the mower in that. But that's the only problem I see. Other than that, and I'm now quite satisfied that from a storage point of view, we're going to be sport.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine how quick it
We
will fill
use
up.
one car parking space when we do the fire exit to the back, don't we?
Yeah.
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 Well, it's absolutely vital that
Yeah.
we have an emergency exit.
Yeah, and it has to go to the back.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's, I mean that's that's a problem, but it's not a big problem. It'll just be patched off, and it'll just be patched off, and they won't be allowed to park on it.
Yeah.
Is that a DVC decision?
Yes.
Put it in plan,
It's all, well, this has got building regulation approval. What we will have to watch, of course, is that the building regulation approval
Doesn't run out.
doesn't run out.
Yeah.
And we are waiting for the planning permission, apropos the conversation that we had just now, subject to the
Yes.
approval of Sport England.
Yep.
And they don't think of something else
Yep. Sorry.
to say.
Yep. Colin. Yep.
But they will
New door at the back, is that a fire door or an...
fire door.
It's a fire door? Yeah.
It's
So-
an emergency exit.
So does it go out onto a car parking space, or will that be cleared?
That we can use.
That
No,
will be clear.
One of the
we
car
might
parking
not,
spaces will be lost.
Good.
Yep.
Yep.
Just ask that.
Hmm?
That's exactly the question I just asked.
Right, but you can all see, it's just, I thought it important because hopefully within a few months this is going to be moving forward, but you need to all understand exactly what it's going to give to us. And what it will mean is our meetings will take place there. We'll have a screen, there'll be no trolley for Andrew, you won't get his trolley because we can leave stuff there, or we'll have it...
And of course it'll be available
Yes.
for, it'll be also available for local organisations
Yes.
to use it as well.
Yep. So, no, I wanted you just to see though, because for some of you this is maybe the first time you've seen what we plan to do, but it's going to be a meeting room, and as Clive said, yes, it can be used by other organisations. Yes?
Yeah.
How does that impinge on the village hall? Because some of their income comes from...
We're certainly
as
not
a
looking
village
to
hall, as a
necessarily
meeting room, etc.
rent it out.
It comes from letting.
Yep. But
You'll not be renting it out.
well, unless somebody comes and says they'd like to use it, and because there's no other available. But at this stage in time, it's certainly not the plan. I mean, we've got a good rental income from upstairs and the rec. No, but we did. I mean, we did before with the old room upstairs. Can't think what they called it now.
Can I put this down?
Yes, certainly. But we had people who came in. We had, we certainly had Zumba. We had Pilates. We had people that used it.
I even tried German lessons.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. So I mean, if somebody wants to use it, they certainly can. But no, we're not going to be in competition with the village hall or indeed the mill with what we've got.
And one final thing, anticipating that we would be able to make a start before now, we put this out to tender, and there were 3 firms that came back with figures, and the one that's really I was very surprised about was the one that I thought was going to be the highest one, turned out to be the lowest one. The second one was very close to it, and the third one got a little higher. Obviously, we would have to go back to...
The tendering process, yes.
Yeah, those certainly the 2.
Yeah, because one didn't come back, did they? I thought that we were...
No, there were 3.
Yeah, there were 3.
How
Oh, did we get 3 replies?
We went out to tendering.
Sorry?
How long ago was it we went out to tendering?
21.
Oh gosh, the prices.
Things are moving.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we'd need to go out
Yes.
again to those 3 firms,
Yeah.
I would suggest, and listeners.
Yep.
Anything else, and
Yeah, it
Just
could
get
be
the
eyeball really
opportunity.
expensive.
Well, you put it out
Right.
again to tender, and the
Yeah.
other companies are interested.
Yeah.
Not just 2 of them, 3 firms, I would say.
well,
They were the...
they were the only 3 firms that
Yeah,
we could
well,
find.
at the moment,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. Right, moving on to item 12, general correspondence including the purchase of Palmerston Woods.
Yes,
Yep.
I've had some correspondence coming recently from Mr. Will Dodd's account. I think I've got a copy of it there for you. He's bought the piece of woodland which is on the other side of Crabble Lane from Gorse Hill, which has been rather controversial. But he's sort of pains to stress that he's not looking to develop it. He actually wants to use it for conservation reasons.
It's at the top of Crabber Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's basically at the position where he's just waiting for contracts to be signed. He has been talking to the planning department about use of the land. Please could you let locals and neighbours know that we aren't developing or building houses, in fact the complete opposite. But we will need to be there for a few days of machine work, scraping and clearing the fly-tipped crap.
Yeah, which there is,
This we
yes.
will try to complete as fast as possible to avoid disturbing the neighbours. There will also be some chainsaw work with the fallen dead trees and then later tree care. But they're looking to use it for environmental activities, that kind of thing, or even sort of.
Yep. That's a relief, isn't it?
That's lovely news, really.
Nice.
Good news.
Used to give every council.
And the other piece of correspondence. I get all of these things, the tree work come through from Kent Highway. We've actually got a couple of trees being planted. One Lewisham Road outside, between 161 and 163. It is down as a tree planting request. I don't know who's requested it, but there will be a tree going to be planted. And the other one is in Valley Road, outside between number 24 and 25. Similar thing, plant tree. So two new trees going in. But we don't know who's requested them or where that's come from. That's it for correspondence.
That's it? Right. Anything else to bring up before we close the meeting? No? Right, there we are, 9:05, 5 minutes late, apologies. But thank you very much for a very productive meeting. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much.